Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Travis Sokolik is in the house. Former co-creator and co-producer of the Late Hour Show. What is going on?
It's going.
It's going. And for those who don't know, you're in North Carolina now, right?
Oh yeah.
How'd you end up there?
Fiance, Jessica.
Fiance? Okay. Is she from there, or like did she move
Yeah,
there?
she was
Or?
born and raised and
Nice. How'd you guys meet?
online. Good old
Oh,
online. I was originally
like
Creeper, and then she's like, "Here's my number," and then boom.
oh, sweet. And you guys are engaged now?
Oh yeah, January 1st.
Oh man.
Cat was hungry the other day. He was like jumping
Oh,
all
that's
over the pillows, and he slipped and went.
oh man, that's how you got that scratch. Jeez.
Have you got any, like face scratches from your cats?
When they were younger, they used to like run across my face when I was sleeping, and that's the only time they would do it. But then they stopped because I started like I would feel them coming and just fling them across across the room, and then they finally stopped.
Should have wore a mask or something.
Yeah, no kidding. And now
on you, and there's a.
I know, right? Just have
You
a
got plenty of
springboard ready
masks.
for me. I did, yeah. I don't really have any masks anymore. I have a couple, and they're in the Halloween stuff.
Still got my
Yeah.
snowman, but like the head's like broken in like 3 pieces. You can like
Oh, really?
put it on. I can feel it just like it's about to fall right off of me.
Oh man. Well, you got that thing quite a while ago, didn't you?
18.
Well, you were 18 when you got it. Oh man. So yeah, just a little while ago.
A little while.
And then for those who don't know out there, for context, me and Travis met way back in the day.
Explain stuff. I keep
Yeah, because
interrupting you.
no, it's okay because I have the habit of assuming people know what I'm talking about. I do that so much, but for context, me and Travis met in high school through our buddy David, and I'm trying to remember like, okay, do you remember like the first time me and you met? Because I'm kind of drawing a blank a little bit.
Well, I remember you came to me with your ICW thing and had like a sheet I had to fill out.
Yeah.
And we ended up, and somehow we actually were in the same science class. That's
Oh,
where
really?
he just kind of came up to me and like, I'm Clint. I'm like, okay. And I was really, really, really quiet back then, so I was just like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, I know, right? And so for those who don't know what ICW is, I have to rewind even farther. So you know how like when you're in high school and people break off and they do different sports and stuff, I thought, oh man, my thing's gonna be starting a backyard wrestling league. Yeah, so I thought, that's gonna be like my ticket to making it popular, making it in high school and becoming popular. So yeah, ICW was called Insane Wrestling Champions, if I'm not mistaken.
I
And
thought
I
it was like IWC, then ICW, then IWC.
oh, you're right. Yeah. You're right. Yeah, it was IWC.
Because I still have that, like,
man, good memory.
well, I have like one, because you gave me the DVD at one point and I put it on the computer. It's on my Facebook video thing. So once in a
Oh
while,
no.
I'll go through all my photos and videos like, oh, that's still on there.
So I'll show some clips on here, but for those who are wondering what the ring was made out of, it was like 4 cinder blocks that I stuck a pole in each cinder block through the hole, and then I like duct taped string all around. But the string,
like hose.
no, hose would have been better. No, it was like string that I had duct taped and spray painted red. And then the base of the ring was a tarp and 2 mats.
Wrestling mats in the gym.
Yeah, pretty much. And like our angle was like, oh, we're extreme. We don't need a real ring. Like we're so hardcore. But
extreme is very very loose.
yeah, it's very what's the word they use for subjective, I guess. Yeah, or like art is subjective. Yeah. But I had a lot of masks back in the day for some reason. So when Travis said I had a lot of masks, that's why, because I played like 40 different characters on this like wrestling show we did. And then David, who we were talking about before, his character's name was Psycho.
Oh yeah, he's so psycho. He made a mask out as a book cover.
Yeah, that was pretty creative though, because it had like little ears and like it looked like fairly legit. Shout out to David, by the way, man. I haven't talked to him in quite a while.
I haven't talked to him in a long time.
Really?
I've seen some of his stuff he's made, like the
Oh yeah.
character he made. That's
Oh man, yeah.
he's.
Did you see that in person? His scarecrow mask?
I don't think I ever saw it in person, but
Oh man.
Facebook.
It was like he bought it at a store. That's how good that mask looked. It was pretty amazing.
And he's very talented at David.
Oh, he's yeah, especially making stuff. I still don't know what he made those because it was a scarecrow, but he had
Yeah,
like needles coming out, but they obviously weren't needles. I still don't know what those were. He won't tell me.
probably were needles.
Yeah, they're actually needles. It's his trade secret. And then fast forward a little bit, I think me and you were in it wasn't a league, another promotion. That's what they call it in the wrestling world. A promotion called MCW.
I was only there like 2 times.
Oh, really? Okay.
Or was it once? I think it was once. I didn't
And
really
then your
like it there.
character. Oh, you didn't like it there.
Well,
They were older guys.
I was shy at that time. Pretty shy at the time. I was
Yeah.
just being out of the house. I'm like, want to go home.
And plus I think like we were like probably 16, 17 at the time, and everybody else is like
Right.
25, 32. They were just quite a bit older than us.
Grown ups.
Yeah, exactly. But your character was kind of cool though, from what I remember. We're really bouncing around in the timeline here, but
Well, we can go
like
back to when we first started, when we met and worked
yeah,
together.
yeah, kind of go backwards a bit.
Try,
I'm kind of
try,
skipping ahead,
try to keep it in order
chronologically organized.
so the
Um,
people watching can know what the heck is going on.
yeah.
Wait a minute,
So
weren't
I
they just
want.
talking about wrestling? Well, now they're talking about.
I know, right? Like we're all over the place. So our first like event was up at this gym that I lived right by.
Yeah,
Um,
what is that Carver?
yeah, yep,
Is that the one that's
yeah. It was
being
like
torn down?
yes, yeah. It's a completely new building now for those who live in the area. Yeah, that school has completely been remodeled. It looks completely different. Yeah, we had that event there, and it was just from what I remember, I was so like embarrassed afterwards how poorly of a job I did just organizing it and like trying to get
Uh,
everything together.
when I first had the idea, I was like daydreaming, like coming out to a ring, and like all my dreams of doing that sort of stuff was coming to a. And that day was probably the worst day of my life too, because I don't know, I don't know what was going on, my because that was when my mom passed that day.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Let's go to a wrestling match. I gotta wrestle.
Mm.
So I come in and just a bunch of guys behind a table and then a floor mat. And I just sat
Yeah.
there and rolled around with BJ for a while. And I'm like my brain trying to comprehend what just happened today. And I'm just here bumping up this
Yeah, that
one
was
guy. That was such a.
yeah.
I don't know if he understood that it was supposed to be like a professional wrestling match, but not a mat wrestling match. Because like
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, am I trying to like do the Olympic kind of wrestling, or am I?
Um you had a really cool shirt though, I remember that you made. What was on the
That was
back?
actually David made that too.
Oh,
It was like
really?
a cross, and then Uni painted it. I had to wear a shirt under it though, because it cut up my nipples.
Oh, really?
Because you use paint, so it was all dry, and I'd be moving around, chafing my nips and stuff.
Oh, yeah, you don't need that. And then for those who don't know, character Travis's character's name was Union. That was like your wrestling persona.
Yeah, that's just something I just kind of stuck with when I first played the WrestleMania 2000. I was trying to figure
Mm.
out like a cool name. I was like on Snake, stupid like cheesy names like that, and I saw the theme song Union. I'm like, oh, I'm taking that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I can't even remember who's in that faction.
I think it was Test, Big Show, Mankind, just a bunch of random people.
Oh, really? I'm guessing they were like the union of like pro wrestling.
I think they're just another little group of. Vince McMahon henchman.
Oh, okay, that makes
I
more
could be
sense.
wrong,
Okay,
but that's my
gotcha.
recollection.
So then after that event, which I have no footage of, unfortunately, um, we strictly did a TV show from my backyard, if I'm remembering correctly.
Oh yeah, had fireworks and everything, and
Yeah.
audience too.
Yes, yes. The very real audience we had in the backyard. Man, but I mean, for being only 14, that wasn't like terrible, but it also like wasn't great.
It tricked a few people and showed that
That's
to a
true.
few people, and they're like, "What?" The audience, I'm like, "Are you stupid?"
Yeah, I know. It's like you can see the grass on like the trees in the back and everything.
Back
Like,
by
how
the
do you know?
trees, they're having a really good time.
Yeah. Okay, and then we did that for probably about like I don't know, 5 episodes maybe. I think we stopped when winter came because that was right in the beginning of high school, I think. And then that's when
I remember a couple
we
cold nights. Yeah, I think it was right before it started to snow because
yeah
it was like late fall. I think it started to stop.
yeah
We
because
didn't, we didn't
it's
have a car or had like vehicles at the
no
time, and it was hard to get
yeah we
over sometimes.
yeah well yeah I think we were like what 14, 15, 16 maybe at the time, something
Yeah.
like that. But then that's when we jumped over to MCW, which was I believe Midwest Championship Wrestling, I think, or it was Minnesota. It was one of those. It was down on Payne Avenue in St. Paul. For if anybody out there remembers.
He did quite a few stuff with them. I remember he
Yeah.
brought the Clint Norris character for a few things.
Yes. Yeah. Well, how that came about was there was this guy named Sideshow Bob, not Sideshow Bob, Sideshow Mike, Sideshow Bob. That's from The Simpsons. So he messaged me one night because he had seen one of our episodes and he thought like the editing was really good and their promotion really desperately needed like an editor. So that's how that all started. But yeah, I remember that venue was
Did you do
it
like their
was
YouTube channel and stuff and kind of ran all
yes,
the stuff?
yeah. Yeah, I did their website, YouTube channel, would film stuff there for them. I mean, I think for at 15, 16, that was a great outlet for me. And then you said you went there once or twice.
I think I went there once with that mask they had. I don't know who bought it, but the one it was like a Abyss ripoff mask.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
I brought that
yeah.
there, and I think I had no idea what the hell I was doing. My special the choke slam that B3 guy where it was like 300 pounds.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He's
B
like,
three.
you think you can lift me? I'm like, no.
Yeah. Okay. Shout out to Darren. I sometimes he'll comment on my stuff on Facebook.
Yeah.
I wonder if any of those guys are still like doing it. I know Derek and Joseph Alexander are still doing it kind of here and there. And for context, for anybody out there, so the pinnacle of MCW was when they brought in this guy named Samoa Joe, who at the time was like super, super popular among like WWE. So they got him to come to a show, and Joseph Alexander was the guy wrestling him.
Wasn't he TNA though at that time?
Oh, excuse me. Yeah. Not. Oh, my
Yeah,
bad. Yeah, that's my
I
bad. Yeah, he's at TNA. Yeah, but TNA was like the new cool thing because they had a 6-sided ring, and they were getting all like the old talent from WWE at the time.
Mhm.
But yeah, Samoa Joe was just like on fire during that time. So for them to get him was like a huge deal, and that was probably their biggest show ever.
Oh yeah, especially Samoa Joe. He's still kicking ass.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Yeah, like 15 years later, he's still doing it.
Really good.
Were you at that show?
No, that was thinking. I think the second time I think there was a second time I came. That was after because I was wearing the same shirt he wore that day. And
Oh, really?
it was like a video game T-shirt. I happened to be
Oh,
wearing.
yeah, you're right. Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, that was kind of like the highest point for that promotion. It unfortunately kind of just went downhill from there. There was a lot of just internal stuff going on. Like this guy didn't like that guy. This guy didn't like that this happened. It was just a lot of, unfortunately. You know what? I think weren't you supposed to have like a dark match with B3? I think that was supposed to happen, but unfortunately never did.
Yeah, it was something like that was about to happen. Was supposed to happen. But...
Granted, none of us knew like what we were actually doing ever. Like none of us were ever like trained, as far as I know.
It was fun though that when we first went though to play around in the ring, that was kind of the cool.
Oh yeah,
being an actual like wrestling ring.
Yeah, and it like when you fall correctly, it doesn't hurt at all.
Yeah,
because like you have to like tuck in your chin and lay your shoulders flat.
That was probably the highlight of that. You get to play around the ring for free.
Oh yeah, I know, right? Like a legitimate like ring. Yeah. Do you watch like any wrestling at all these days?
I usually watch like I see clips on TikTok a lot of what's kind of going on. YouTube, like all the YouTube wrestling videos I watch, they'll come up with the new WWE stuff.
Sure, yeah.
Like, I know what's going on, but I don't watch.
The Clint Norris Show will be right back after a word from our sponsors.
So let me ask you guys something. Have you ever thought about creating your own podcast but weren't 100% sure where to start? Well, with Anchor, you can officially turn your idea of a podcast into a reality. The easiest way for anyone to make a high-quality podcast and distribute it everywhere audio is heard. You even have the option to record your podcast from your phone with no fancy equipment required. That's it. It's really that easy. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, it's never been easier to finally create your very own podcast. So check out Anchor on the App Store or visit anchor.fm. That is anchor.fm. Okay, so check this out. Do you like finding random cool things to buy on the internet? If so, you're in luck because right now the Awesome Mall has everything from apparel to gamer gadgets on their site. The Awesome Mall features items that you typically won't find in stores and make it easier to find a gift for those hard-to-buy people in your life. From all-in-one arcade boards to countertop pizza cookers, theawesomemall.com has something for everybody. That is theawesomemall.com.
Welcome back to the Clint Norris Show. Isn't Clint awesome? Show some love by subscribing and giving a thumbs up.
Do you play the games though?
Have you played the new one?
Unfortunately I haven't. No, it looks crazy though.
It's if you want to come back to wrestling, it's
I got really sucked into 2K17. That's the last one I played.
Well,
but yeah, shout out to 2K.
2K20 was pathetic when they released.
Oh right, I forgot about that. Yeah, they had all those issues.
And then they canceled the yearly thing and took a year off to make it, and they came back with it's definitely in the right direction.
The screenshots though look pretty amazing for 2K22. It almost looks real at first. It's like, oh wow, that looks just incredible.
On my beast of a PC.
You've officially become a PC gamer?
Yeah.
So PC is the way to go. I mean, believe it or not, I actually bought myself a gaming PC, but I don't really use it for gaming though. I've been slowly getting into like animation and stuff, but I mostly just wanted a really fast editing computer that I could put stuff together quickly.
Definitely does a good job.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It starts up in like 8 seconds. It's crazy.
Where the heck do we leave off with the whole story? Like we just went
with MCW.
The story, and we're just like video games this way.
Yeah. Okay. So there was MCW, and then that folded, and then I remember you really got into like animation, for a while.
Yeah, that was my obsession at the time. It was definitely a good time. I spent hours, nights.
Yeah.
Got pretty decent.
Do you still use Blender?
I don't have patience for that anymore. I try here and there. I get inspired. I watch some Blender videos. I'm like, I want to do that. I want to do that again. And I'm like, I do it for like a minute. I'm like, I don't remember our shit. And I don't have patience to relearn all that stuff. I do it once in a while. I'll go in there if someone wants me to edit something for them, or for some reason they come to me, and I know enough to make something nice, but
sure,
nothing great.
I have tried the Blender interface, And like when you compare it to a typical like animation program, it's very like all over the place. But once you know where everything is, it's like, oh, okay, I got this.
Yeah, I think, I don't know how, I think they went from, I think they're on like 3.0, so they like revamped their whole interface. It's supposed to be a lot more user friendly.
Yeah, it
There's not
seems
so
like it.
many, there's still a ton of commands like with the keyboard, but a lot of it's kind
Yeah.
of like all in front of you. It's kind of,
I noticed that as I was like using it. I was like, I don't remember this being this easy. Like, was I just like being a wimp before? Like, I remember this being a lot more complicated.
I think they just made it more user friendly.
Did you check out that MetaHuman thing I sent you?
I think there was something similar you sent me a long time ago, where you could like edit your characters or whatever, and then import it to Blender or whatever, and be able to use
Yeah.
that kind of what
Yeah.
that is.
Kind of. So it's completely in browser. You don't download anything. And I believe it's specifically made for Unreal Engine, but you can get it into Blender. But just the level of detail you can get, like in browser, and just to quickly make a character is just like, man, I wish we had that 12 years ago. That would have been awesome.
It's a little too late for me for that stuff, but I'm glad it's out there.
You never know. Like another program might come along that's just super simple,
We'll see.
And then we skip ahead to the late hour show.
What about Burger Dump or the Wise Guys?
Oh right. Oh, how can I forget? Yeah. Wise Guys
made my debut on sitcoms.
Yeah, Wise Guys. Okay. So for everybody out there,
freaking timeline.
I know, right? Okay, so yeah, we're on MCW, and now we're on to Wise Guys.
I'm like, what am I expecting? You tell me all this stuff, and then do you have a list of stuff on the side you can read?
You've got a better chronological memory than me.
All I do is reminisce.
So, well, yeah, you've got a better like bookmark than me, because I was about to completely skip over that. So for people out there who don't know what Wise Guys is, it was a sitcom that me and my older brother Luke had put together, and the idea was you had these three very different guys living in an apartment during their college years, and then Travis was in the episode called Burger Dump, and he was one of the employees working at the
that was the loudest thing you've ever heard me up until that point.
Oh really?
No.
Well, you were involved before that though, right? Like you were probably like,
I did a lot of I helped out behind the scenes a lot with the cameras and lighting and audio.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure you were there for like the first episode too.
Yeah, it was behind the scenes, and then we took the classes and stuff there and learned.
Oh yeah.
With John and the other dude.
John and Glenn. Shout out to John Hansen and Glenn Schmidt. And those guys were hilarious.
Oh yeah, definitely made going there a little bit more entertaining too.
Oh yeah, they have the exact same. What's that?
They helped out a lot too with the show.
Oh yeah,
they weren't really supposed to help people with their projects and stuff, from what I remember.
Yeah, well, they got along so well with us, and they just had the exact same type of humor. So I mean that definitely helps. I think we only ended up doing 2 episodes. Oh no, excuse me, we did 3 episodes of Wise Guys, and I believe the original. No, I don't think we ever finished it. I have the tapes though for it. I just never put it together. But I think the original concept of it was like we were going to make the pilot and then we were going to like pitch it to different networks and stuff. But I don't think we ever ended up doing that from what I recall. I'd have to ask Luke.
I think it was just their public access and YouTube at the time.
Yeah. But we did a fairly good job of making it look like a sitcom at the time, for what we had. It wasn't. Yeah. The audience was fairly convincing, kind of.
Yeah, the laugh track and.
Yeah. which we used the laugh track again for a late hour. I wasn't able to escape.
what we had on hand to do all that stuff, we did pretty good.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
the sets, and all we had was that big gray square to do everything and set up everything. And
I think we moved that out of the way after the first episode. I think.
well,
Yeah, it was like this big.
We kind of do the burger dump episode with that in a way because you need a counter and you need a place where people are eating. That wasn't.
Oh yeah.
That wasn't gonna fit.
Yeah. That was a good time though. It was very much that you got a feel for how like TV shows were made. There's a lot of different people involved, and
I didn't have. Was that after we graduated?
I believe so. Yeah, I want to say it was like about a year after we had graduated. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember I didn't have a job. I had nothing to do. That was my.
Oh really?
That was my fun time to get out of the house.
But you know what, though? In my opinion, you probably got more experience from that than you would just working a stupid, like retail or fast food job, because you don't learn anything at those jobs. You don't really learn anything. You learn how awful people are and how to automate the process of making fast food. Like you don't bring anything, or you don't really learn much from that, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, those classes we took there. They were kind of spenny, but like the knowledge you learn from those,
Exactly. Yeah,
you can use them for pretty much anything you can imagine.
Yeah, freelance or like as a reference for to put on your application.
We'll touch on that stuff later too when we talk about Uncle George, the documentary, because I used the I had Town Square help with that. We used
I didn't know that.
Their nice cameras for a lot of the filming.
Oh, sweet! I didn't know that.
I went there a few times by myself. I told him, "Don't tell Clint I'm here."
He's not allowed. He's not allowed to go to the studio without me.
He signed his contract. There's blood.
Yes, and I gave him a signing bonus and
signing bonus all that fun stuff. Soul.
Yes. All right, and then I want to say afterwise, guys, that's when we did late hour?
Yeah, I think so. Like, at least I think so. It was that Katie was the first person we interviewed, or we tried to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, shout out to Katie Palacio, yeah.
No, that was that time. We were still at SEC.
Yeah, the SEC was still open at the time, yeah. Yes, we had Katie Palacio, who I knew from school, be our very first guest on the show. Shout out to Katie.
She was. I remember because we were still learning all that stuff. It was just you and I running everything, so we were still learning how to work the audio and the levels.
Yeah,
I remember filming that first one and nothing worked. Like the audio didn't work.
Oh, you know what? I forgot about that. Yeah.
We had to have her come a second time because
I completely forgot about that. Yes. so sorry about that, Katie. If you're listening.
Oh yeah, she's probably listening.
You never know.
Yeah.
Man, Katie's been up to a lot. She moved out to Los Angeles. She's doing it out there. So man, props to her.
That's where you gotta go if you want that, or New York, I think.
Yeah. Well, I want to say she was in it was sort of like a Halo movie. I can't remember. Let me just look it up real quick. It was like all right, Katie, I'm creeping on your IMDb page.
Don't you have an IMDb?
Yeah, I do. Yes. I mean, yeah. Look at all the stuff she's. Yeah, Project Eden, Being Mary Jane, De-Evolution. I mean, yeah. Props to Katie. That's awesome.
Yeah, she's at least from the. Because I remember seeing some scenes that she was in. She definitely has a talent for that. But,
oh yeah, super good actress.
Glad to hear she's out doing that stuff.
Yeah, she's crazy talented. And then who did we have on after Katie? Do you remember off the top of your head? I'm drawing a blank here. I want to say it was like L.A. Nick, but I'm not sure if that's right.
No, I think it was Tommy Tallarico, maybe.
Oh, you know what? You're right, man. Good
Because
memory. Holy smokes.
FCC had a better setup for Skype interviews. I
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
Town Square didn't have a very good setup for that, so that's why I think where we did a lot of our interviews at SEC because they had that. They literally just plug in TV and boom and laptop.
And you're good to go. Yeah.
They
Yeah,
had it all
man.
set up.
Yes, that's crazy. Yeah, second episode was Tommy Tellerico. So for those who don't know who Tommy is, Tommy was one of the very influential people in the early days of PlayStation as far as audio, and even going back to the Super Nintendo, he was responsible for getting a lot of those different types of sounds and music onto the actual cartridges. That was mostly him doing that during the time. So to get him on was I geeked out a little bit.
Yeah, I've heard his video game music live or something. He did
Yes, yeah.
The Halo theme. That was really good.
Did you go to one of the shows?
No, just I think he had like streaming. You could like stream his music on
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Pandora. That's where I listened to a lot of his stuff.
So Tommy Tellerico used to do this. Well, I don't know if he may still do it in the future, but it's called Video Games Live, which is essentially you get to hear a live orchestra of your favorite video game music. So everything from Halo to Mario to Dig Dug, Tetris, Metal Gear Solid, Final Fantasy, just every game you could possibly think of. Like it's right in front of me.
Also, I'm not wearing any pants.
I am currently in sweatpants, so we are in the same genre. Okay, so yeah, and then after Tommy Tellerico, we had the one and only Quentin Flynn from.
You still keep in contact with him, don't you?
Yeah, I talk to him once in a while.
On Instagram? Like you were in Minneapolis with him?
Yeah, I met up with him at I think it's called Annie Minneapolis, which it's funny because I have zero interest in anime or anything to do with anime.
Yeah,
so like
anime. If there was one I would recommend, the only one I could really get into was the Attack on Titan.
I've heard of that one. Okay,
that one's good, but Jessica's really into that stuff, and she'd want me to watch her shows, and I'd just be like, I'm trying really hard not to just talk crap about it, make fun of it, because she likes it so much.
So what I've said is just blasphemy to her that I don't really care for anime.
I like
it was
Titan, but that's about it.
Okay. I was a huge fan of Metal Gear Solid, so getting him on the show was cool for me, and me and him just kind of clicked instantly with our sense of humor, and he's a pretty down to earth guy.
Oh yeah. And then the guy who did Snake.
Did I?
I thought he did.
I think eventually David Hayter is his name. I think we were supposed to eventually have both of them on at the same time. That would have been awesome, but unfortunately that never happened. I think during that time, Quentin was just auditioning for a billion different things at the time, so he was kind of hard to get a hold of.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that was cool having him on. That was cool to interview him. Like I said, I was a huge fan of Metal Gear Solid and his character Raiden. Back in the day. Yeah, did you ever play those games?
I think I remember playing the demo of the first one, I think. That's about it. But didn't he have his own game?
Yeah. I want to say it was a couple years back now. Yeah, his character Raiden got his very own game.
Like, when you go slice someone, you can actually choose where you slice them, and then that's where the would kind of come apart. That was really cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed the game. Well, I loved how they brought him back as a cyborg in the fourth Metal Gear Solid game, because if you play the second one, he's kind of this insecure, new soldier that has kind of a dark past, but then he comes back in number 4 and he's just half human, half cyborg.
I definitely enjoyed that one. I played a little bit, but I don't think I could beat her or whatever, but
I don't. I think I did. You fight the president or something at the end of the game.
I just remember the cool ass slicing mechanic thing.
And then after that, we don't have to go through every single episode. I'll kind of just highlight these. because there's a few of them. So this will be the last one I'll cover at SEC. Is Lisa Foyles?
Oh yeah,
She was on she was on All That back in the day on Nickelodeon's. And I don't know what she's up to nowadays. She was like doing a UFC show during that time. That was cool to talk to her, man. She's awesome.
Yeah, that was probably like the first like celebrity like person you interview. I'm like, I know who that is. That was really cool.
Yeah.
I remember I was in the back in the studio doing all the stuff, and then you were talking to her on the laptop or whatever, and she's like, "Who else is there?" First, I don't know. I think she was like nervous or whatever. She's like, "I want to say hi to him," and I had to come out of the freaking control room. And
you're right. Yeah. You're like, hey, what's up? And then shortly after that, SEC closed down.
I don't think they closed. I think they didn't let people like us come in and use their stuff. I think
they say, "You get out of here. Stay away from our facility."
Yeah, you couldn't like.
So it okay. So then it probably just became like a government owned type of thing, entity.
Yeah, and then there was that kind of void for a while because there's really no other place like that close by, and then you found the town square. And that was a good time. They had a lot of good people there too.
Yeah, shout out to Town Square Television, man. They really helped kind of shape Late Hour.
What was that guy's name? He was really cool.
Tommy?
Yeah, Tommy.
Oh, Tommy's awesome. Shout out to Tommy Platek, man. He's the man.
He always remembered me. He remembered everybody. He was very nice.
He's a genuinely very, very nice guy. I don't know if he's still there, just because it's been so long since I've been to that.
I follow Town Square on Facebook, and I think I've seen some stuff he does.
Oh, really?
I think he's still there, but I'm not sure. But hopefully
he won an Emmy.
At least he's doing something. I hope he's doing something with like his talent.
Yeah, he was always like super helpful, super creative, super supportive of like whatever project you wanted to do.
It's kind of cool to kind of set up the light for you. I kind of wish we could do that, but it was nice that they kind of did it for you.
Dude, yes. That was such a huge to have them just set it up for us, and we just walk in was like so nice.
Hey, email them what you want, and then when we get there, all we had to do is move a few things, and everything was kind of set.
Yeah, man, that was so nice. And then the plan from there was to do the show out in Pasadena, California, and then COVID hit, and that kind of just backtracked everything. And then I think you moved. That's around the time you moved to South Carolina.
I moved right before it got really bad because I moved down.
Yeah.
I left Minnesota. I think that the Friday after Valentine's Day, I made my way down here, and then like a month, then March came, and that's when things started shutting down, and people were getting sick, and tried to wear the masks. And
I don't think I told you this. So I recently did an interview with Rob Dyrdek, and I mentioned you. I don't know if you saw it.
I watched that one.
Yeah.
I thought when I first started listening to it, he had his like spiel in the beginning.
Yeah,
My first thought was like, is this like a masterclass thing? And then if you graduate, you get to be on his podcast. I don't know, but that was really cool.
He's got a lot of insight.
Oh yeah, Rob, the ridiculousness.
Yeah, Rob and Big Fantasy Factory. Yeah, ridiculousness. He's been on there for quite a while. I'm working on putting something together for that, but it was cool to pitch him that TV show. That's the most nervous I've ever been in my life. Like I don't think I've ever been that nervous before.
Yeah, well, you're talking to someone who's been through it all already, and
yeah, I mean, yeah, he's been on MTV since 2010, 2011.
Wasn't he just like pretty much MTV for a while? Where they just like kept
I want to say he like currently he's like 60% of their programming, but like if you have an idea for a concept, or if you like anybody out there has a company that they want to pitch to Rob Dyrdek, you certainly can. Just go to dyrdekmachine.com. He's a super down to earth guy.
Did he check out some of the Late Hour episodes?
He did, yes.
Well, I think, yeah,
he said, "Oh, you did the late hours show in Minnesota."
Minnesota.
Yeah, but I made sure to say like it was a very very bootstrap operation that me and you did. Like everything you see is only me and you. Like there's no audience. It feels very alive.
I remember
it was very.
I got working there, or not working, but helping there because I'd have to go to the control room, run out cameras.
Yes.
Check stuff, go back out, check the audio. It was fun though.
Yeah, really good experience. Yeah, me and you got to I think me and you got to a point where we really had it down.
Oh yeah, towards the last couple episodes and.
Yes, yeah, that's when we were just able to knock episodes out very quickly because we knew what to do.
Well, I think we kind of changed the format too. We kind of shortened it a little bit.
Yes,
because people didn't really like to watch the whole episode, so we kind of went squeeze it.
Yeah, shorter episodes. I think getting away from the suit and tie aspect was really important. That's when our views really started to take off. And you know what? I need to give somebody a shout out here, Colt, over at I don't know what radio station he's at now, but man, Colt was at KWB, and he came on our show and he gave us a shout out over the radio, which really helped create an audience for us. So man, shout out to Colt. That was huge for us.
That was a good time.
Yeah. All right. So where are we at in the timeline? We're at 2019, 2020, somewhere in there. We're almost caught up.
I think we're caught up almost.
Okay. So then, tell me how you got involved with this Uncle George documentary.
I guess we're going back a couple of years.
Oh, now we're going. Oh man.
Because the paranormal stuff. All this happened before I moved down here. They're interested in this.
There they are.
But
how many cats do you have?
Two brothers.
Just okay, gotcha.
You know what it's like to have cats.
Yes, I have 6 of them, so I am well aware of how cats can be very nice, but they can also be very, very weird.
Oh yeah, whatever. So back to story, whatever. An email. There's forget the website. But there's a website where teams can put in their name and contact information to people find them. So there's a huge list, and then I'll kind of go through and check it sometimes to see. At the time too, I didn't have. It was after my dad passed, I think, and I was living in Woodbury, and I still hadn't really no means of getting around to have my license or anything at the time. So I had to find someone to find a team close enough to maybe I can get a ride to some places and whatnot. And then after a while, I just gave up on it. But then I tried in 2016. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, looks like you just saw one that was in a Woodbury. I'm like, damn, I'm in Woodbury, so maybe this is an opportunity or a chance to do this stuff. And I emailed this guy named Mike. He had different views on how you want to do stuff, but I'll always be grateful because he did kind of gave me the opportunity to do it.
The Clint Norris Show will be right back after a word from our sponsors.
So let me ask you guys something. Have you ever thought about creating your own podcast but weren't 100% sure where to start? Well, with Anchor, you can officially turn your idea of a podcast into a reality. The easiest way for anyone to make a high-quality podcast and distribute it everywhere audio is heard. You even have the option to record your podcast from your phone with no fancy equipment required. That's it. It's really that easy. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, it's never been easier to finally create your very own podcast. So check out Anchor on the App Store or visit anchor.fm. That is anchor.fm. Okay, so check this out. Do you like finding random cool things to buy on the internet? If so, you're in luck because right now the Awesome Mall has everything from apparel to gamer gadgets on their site. The Awesome Mall features items that you typically won't find in stores and make it easier to find a gift for those hard-to-buy people in your life. From all-in-one arcade boards to countertop pizza cookers, theawesomemall.com has something for everybody. That is theawesomemall.com.
Welcome back to the Clint Norris Show. Make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe for notifications.
The ride up there. So this is my first investigation. And the car was Jody, Sean, and Emma, who later would do the Uncle George movie with me, or the documentary.
Mm-hmm.
You know how quiet I am.
Yeah.
Well, we were
depending
in
on the
car.
subject.
They forgot I was in the car. I was so quiet. They're sitting there talking crap about this Mike guy. This is my first time going. They're like, "This guy sucks. We should leave." And started honking. And
Oh no!
I'm in the back of the car, just confused as hell. And but I went on a few after that. I had a good time with it and learning more audio type stuff, using more like microphones out in the field. That's something we didn't really do at the, except for the Officer Dan or whatever you did. That guy.
Yes, we did Officer Dan. Yes. But, yeah, I don't think we used any like fancy equipment for that though. That was just my flip cam, I think.
So it was kind of cool to do some of that audio in the field, dealing with like the nature sounds that you can't really control.
So I one question about your story. So like, when did they notice you were in the car?
I think they just looked back and or they just realized, oh, there's a fourth person in the car.
And what did they do? They change the subject?
They're like, we're sorry. It was just, I don't really remember.
No. Anyways, you want to know? I have a similar story. So when I was in college, we were in, I want to call it a computer lab. I don't know if that's what it was called, but it was a room where you had all these different like computers, sort of like a mini library, I guess. And this girl like started talking about me, and I thought she was kidding. And she was like, "Clint thinks he's so cool. He just thinks he's the coolest guy ever." Well, guess what? You're not. You're an idiot. And like, she didn't know like I'm like 2 rows ahead of her. So I just like,
it's like she's talking to you, but she's not.
It was weird, yeah. Because I thought she was kidding at first, and then she saw I was in the room, and then her face got red, and I just waved. I was like, "Good to see ya." Awkward.
Well, the people I were with were really nice. Just they didn't like this Mike guy.
Oh, really? Well, Mike, if you're listening, sorry, buddy.
I didn't have any ill will towards him because I wasn't there long enough to have issues with him. But for 3-4 years, I did it nonstop. Every location I went, I went all over Iowa. I went to like places like the Irvin, that's in Duluth. It's like a old ore ship that used to travel along Lake Superior.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of cool to see.
What was it called?
The Irvine.
The Irvine ship? Okay.
Yeah. Forget where it's docked. I don't know if it's in Duluth or next to Duluth.
So then how did you guys decide on doing a documentary on Uncle George?
Well, that kind of ties into the paranormal stuff too, because Emma, she's really good at researching the location. But when we went into a location, she had like a whole history of it and researching a place called Leduc Mansion. It's in the Hastings. A real cool place. It's like an old mansion that's right in the middle of modern day. So she was doing research on that, and she came across a guy named George Daniels. He was like a former slave. So she likes to like find a person at these locations that there's not a lot of information about them, and she'll focus on that guy, try to fill in the gaps of his history. For a while, that was kind of her thing, was researching this guy, finding where he came from, what was his life like, his family, where was he born, where did he die. All that stuff wasn't really known, especially like at the Leduc place. They had just the information of what General Leduc, he was a general in the Civil War Army or the Union.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
So the only recollection of history for George Daniels is what he had.
It's cool that you guys kind of made something from somebody who I probably wouldn't know about otherwise.
Yeah, that's what
You know, that's a really cool thing.
Yeah, that's what I liked about doing the project the most, because it was someone that not a lot of people knew.
Yeah.
So she goes to these research holes, rabbit holes, and just, well, you're gonna watch the movie for all that
Yeah. If you
information.
guys,
But
yeah.
Uncle George, life story of George Daniels, I believe. It's been a while. That's on the North Star Paranormal Research YouTube.
And then
It's
have you guys like ever run into anything like strange while you're out doing this type of stuff?
strange.
Yeah.
There was one time where I was at this place called Edinburgh. Um, this is probably the only time I ever got spooked, where I'm like, oh. So there's this room with a coffin in it, kind of like almost like a wake or funeral kind of setup with chairs. And I thought it'd be like a good idea to go lay in the coffin. So I
Oh
went,
man.
I went and got in there. It's pretty comfy. So when my time comes, it's gonna be a comfy
Hey,
spot.
this isn't bad.
Yeah, I almost fell asleep in there. But
Oh really?
so they wanted me to close the coffin, and they would go to the other side of the building. They closed me in. I heard them walking away, and I think they came back to get a few things. But after a while, I could hear the footsteps kind of trail off.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just laying in there. But after a while, almost sounds like someone runs up to the coffin and smacks the top of it, and that made me jump.
Oh, of course, yeah.
From this little coffin. So that was probably my only real good experience. A lot of the cool stuff happened to the other team members. Like,
So how do you know it wasn't one of the other team members who did that?
well, after it happened, I laid there for a while, kind of get my nerves down a little bit. I got out of the coffin because I was starting to get sleepy.
Mm-hmm.
So I got up because I think it was like midnight, almost like 1 a.m. So it was pretty late. So I got out of the coffin, and there's like no one in the room. I leave the room, and I start heading towards the other side where everyone's at. There's no one around, but someone's coming back my way. I think her name was Deanne or something, because she forgot her camera. I can't prove that there was no one in there because there's no cameras or anything. It's just I have the audio of it on my laptop. It's definitely unexplained.
Well, and unexpected too. You're just
Yeah.
sitting there, or you're laying down, just relaxing, and then
There was no one in there, but something made noise, and I can't say for sure it was.
Did you feel a little bit like the Undertaker when you were in that coffin?
Missed opportunity. I should have put the basket saddle. Ooh,
Sat up real quick.
Grab the toast by the throat. Roll my eyes behind my head.
I've never been in a coffin before, so you have that experience over me. It's got to be a little weird, though, you know.
I thought I might have been a little claustrophobic about it, but it was actually pretty cozy.
Like, hey, this ain't too bad. This is just me. I prefer to not like kind of going to people who are actually in coffins. I just prefer not to see them, and that's my own like thing nowadays. I just don't.
It makes
it's just like, man, I don't need to see. Like, I don't need to. It's okay. Like, just close it. I don't need to see that.
It's hard when it's a loved one too. It's just it's really hard to. You can't really make yourself. You know, you probably should, but part of you is just like, no, just stay away. Don't look. Might be too long.
I just think mentally it's better for you not to see that, because I know people are like, oh, it's good for closure. I don't think it is, man. I disagree.
Everyone's different for everybody. Grieve.
Yeah, that's true. For me, I'm fine with having the last memory be the last thing I did with them. I don't need to see it.
Yeah, there's really no concrete proper way to grieve. Just do your best, and time will heal.
That's the other thing, man. Rob Dyrdek gave me like just some of the best advice ever for grieving. It was
because I remember that question you asked him. Like,
so afterwards he said, the best thing you can do is like just create something out of that, like just some type of art out of that grief, because you're always going to go through that grief process. But the important thing is to write a book, take maybe some art that they made and create an anthology out of that, or write something, and like, man, that's probably the best like advice I've ever heard.
It definitely, it's unfortunate, but it does create really good stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I can't really think of anything on the top of my head, but I don't know. There's like music, some really good music would come out, especially after when Chester Bennington passed away from Linkin Park.
Yeah.
The guy, he came out with a lot of good music afterwards. I don't think that would happen if he did that from grief too. He used his
Yeah,
grief to
yeah.
It's an unfortunate tool, but it's powerful.
Well, I even think of like your Union character. From what I remember, the lore that you wrote, it was like, well, originally Union kind of had this like rough upbringing. When he made it to pro wrestling, he wasn't like really on the main event that much. He was kind of like a middle card guy, and then he goes missing for a while, and then he comes back, has like armor on and like a mask and stuff.
You got me on that. I don't remember any of that. But
Oh, really?
I don't remember that stuff.
Maybe I'm just losing it. Maybe I'm just starting to lose my mind.
Oh yeah. Since I moved down here, we turned into our 30s. How's that been so far?
That's true. Yeah. Oh man.
You're 32. I'm 32. We're old.
Yeah, I know. We're old now. Yeah.
With my beard and everything.
Do you really?
Oh yeah. I'll like pull one out sometimes. Like, holy crap! I'm 80.
I can safely say I pretty much feel the same as I did when I was 21. Like, I really don't feel any different.
I still make the same stupid jokes. Farts make me laugh really hard. Nothing's changed. Except
just your age changes. Maybe I'm a little fatter. I don't know. Maybe just a tad fatter from when I was 21. The only thing I have really noticed is like people's attitudes towards me. It's like, oh, you're 30, you're old. It's like, yeah, I'm just ancient. But my back.
But we don't look 30 though. That's what I get.
No, I don't. We got a visitor.
Do we?
Yep, we do. Are you gonna come? Are you coming in? You're just gonna lord in the doorway like a weirdo? Okay. So for the fine people listening at home, Melissa is opening the door and leaving the dog with me. Anyways,
Cedric or Marnie?
We are actually watching. We're sitting a dog named Torg. He is a elk hound mix. Yeah, we have a lot of animals at our house. For the people out there who don't know, we have 6 cats, as mentioned earlier, 6 chickens, 2 dogs, and a hedgehog. Look at that kitty cat. Who's that?
This is Connor.
Connor? What's going on, Connor?
You don't like people, but he likes me. So
he's not a big people person?
Wow. He got traumatized by Jessica's niece and nephew. They came over one day.
Oh, no.
And they were just chasing Connor, and then he got a little trauma.
Oh, that's too bad. So, are you working on any projects right now where you're at?
No, just working, trying to make a life. I've done a lot down here. Finally got my license.
Oh, yeah. Oh, really?
32 years later, finally getting my license.
How's it feel?
So far, I went to McDonald's and Burger King for breakfast.
Do you have any interest in ever moving back to Minnesota?
I think I'm stuck down here.
Do you ever visit?
I want to visit. I'm trying to come up during the fall. I did come up once. It was, I think, the Christmas after I moved down here. I came up kind of like a surprise thing. Literally, the day before, we're like, let's go.
Did you fly?
No, we drove.
Oh, wow.
That's what made the drive really easy because everyone was ready where they wanted to be. So, like,
I suppose,
when we drove up there was not a lot of people on the road. And
wait, does it snow where you're at?
You'll probably like it down here if you ever make it down here.
Oh, really?
I think it only snowed like twice and it stayed on the ground maybe a couple days. There's definitely a culture shock when I moved down here, but it's definitely different. It'll be in the 70s and people are all bundled up and freezing. Yep. I'm just here in shorts and my t-shirts, be like, this is hot. I'm hot.
My biggest like culture shock was probably when I went out to California and there was just people on the boardwalk nonchalantly smoking marijuana like it was no big deal. and it's legal there, so you can. I was just like,
crazy when you finally get out of Minnesota. There's like every part of the U.S. There's completely different.
yes, yeah.
Points.
So for all the fine people out there, if you want to follow Travis, do you have a like Instagram tag or gamer tag you want to give out, or do you want to stay private?
I hate this game 69. That's the only thing that's
still your gamer tag?
Yeah, it's still.
Oh wow!
It's the only thing that stayed consistent in my whole.
I hate this game 69. That is his gamer tag. If you want to game with Travis,
I hate multiplayer games. So don't rush in.
Well, never mind. I take that back.
The only games I play are like co-op games. I probably play with Mike still.
Or Peggle.
Mike, that piece of crap.
Hey, yeah! Shout out to Mike.
He's got 3 kids now, and
congrats to Mike, man. That's awesome.
Needs to close his legs once in a while.
Take a breather.
He's got a house full of girls.
Oh, they're probably just trying until they get a boy.
I think they're done. You and I like to mess with people.
Yeah,
laugh. And...
Yeah. I mean, not so much anymore. I kind of leave people alone. That was kind of our shtick back in the day.
With the snowman suit, you chase the kids at the church.
I did?
Yeah, there was a few times you'd put the suit on. You had like a British accent. There'd be kids around the church. You'd run around in it.
Oh, the church by your house. Okay,
yeah.
I chased kids. I have no memory of this.
I don't know if you chased them, but they were around, and you're just...
Okay. I remember yelling, "Oh, hello, children!"
And we went up to the old Blockbuster, and there was that giant dog dude.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, there was a guy in a mascot outfit up there.
We were walking around Oakdale in a snowman costume. We just happened to find one other dude in a mascot costume. He was going around handing out flyers and Blockbuster.
Yeah. Then wasn't he like, "Hey, you guys want a job?"
He offered you a job.
Yeah, and I don't know why I didn't say yes. I was just like, "Oh no, man, I'm too
cool."
cool.
I would loan you a suit.
I know, right? Like, why not at the time?
Yeah, but no fear in that thing.
We didn't. Yeah. When you're young,
just like I didn't want to talk or anything. I was a silent snowman. I was the serial killer snowman. You were the Olaf.
Well, I did a lot of that stupid type of stuff when I was like probably 10 to 13. I don't know if you know this. I would just like put on a mask and like go up the street and harass people.
Old videos, yeah.
Yes, yeah. This is going back quite a ways. I remember I got the cops called on me once, and that was the last time I ever did it. I dressed up as Zorro, but yeah, back in the day I used to do similar stuff like that. So of course, naturally, we're gonna fit like a glove with that type of stuff.
Yeah, I like there's like Melissa give you that face, like it's like you're annoying me, but I'm not gonna give you the satisfaction of saying anything. Keep doing it.
No, I mean usually with Melissa, sometimes they'll get a look. Usually it's stop it. That's like the number one thing. Stop it.
She just doesn't say anything, and she'll just like look at me. I'll keep going until I run out of steam.
The joys of being married, ladies and gentlemen. Every married couple out there listening to this knows exactly what we're talking about.
I hope to be married in November-ish.
You guys have a date?
I think November 11th. I don't think we're going to do anything big, but...
That's exciting.
That's when I first met her.
You guys clicked instantly?
Oh, yeah. One person in this world who can deal with this guy.
Shout out to Jessica all day. Do you want to plug anything?
Nah, I'm just kidding.
You good? Okay. All right. Well, Travis,
for my job, I build modular houses. Buy these houses so I can get a bonus.
What is a modular house?
It's like a company that like go buy land and just throw up a whole bunch of houses on it.
Oh, okay.
That's what I.
There it is, folks. Shout out to Travis. Buy modular houses. This has been this has been the one and only Travis, co-creator of Late Hour, co-producer of Late Hour. Good talking to you, man. Thanks for coming on.